Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and our finale of Revell's 30 Ford Model A Coupe and Revell's 32 Ford Tudor mashup. Uh, got a lot from the 32, to be honest with you. So let me get everybody out of the way here and we'll talk about this. Everybody was here today for the finale of this one. Rob did some killer chicken. He said he used habanero blueberry sauce. How about that, huh? Zach's checking on the headlights. Wayne is loving what Stu did on his body. Daisy's just happy to be here. And TJ just can't get enough of this engine. And I think we have a new person in the shop. This is her car. I'm not sure if it's going to be displayed with her or not, but I even put the little Black Widow on her helmet. This car has been one of the most fun and satisfying cars I have built in probably 3 years. And I'm not kidding. It seemed like everything I did worked. All the ideas I had and everything kind of fell together. And even though I had to do some cuts and pastes and make my radiator hoses and all that and kind of just make everything fit, I think it came out really sharp. So I'm not going to display this with the top on it because I love the way this interior is visible through there. And man, if I had it to where I could take that top off in the summer, that top would be gone. This is not attached, so I'm going to move it out of the way right now. Even a glass went on here perfectly. So like I said, I am jazzed with this. We'll start out with the basics. I've covered this before. This is Kaleido's just plain black over Kaleido's gloss black primer. 2 coats of the primer, 2 coats of the black. I let that dry for several days and then masked off and put the Black Widow on the back. That's Kaleido red. Same with the seats and the dash and the engine block. It is all Kaleido red. And I love the way that all kind of pulls itself together. It makes it really nice. This kit, I wanted the flathead in it instead of the engines that came with the kit. And I thought, well, we'll just toss it in there. Well, it was a little more than just tossing it in, but it wasn't a whole lot more. And if you wanted to do it, other than the radiator hoses, it'll go. I did put the 32 front end on because I wanted it to be different. I'm going to pause you here for just a second. This is all part of the first annual Lennis Schultz's Build It Again group build. And what that is you take a kit that you built before and build it again. Do it different than what you did the first time or exactly the same. It doesn't matter, but do it the way you would want it to be done now compared to what you did back then. And then compare the two and your skill levels and things like that. And it's really fun. I've had a blast with this. And let me grab the other car here, and we're going to put them side by side. This is the first 32 that I did. It was like the third car that I lit. This car I did not light because I just didn't want to. I wasn't in the mood to do it, so I didn't. I wanted the car to show itself and not show the extra stuff that I add to all the other cars. I just wanted it to show off the kit, and honestly, that's why I did not. Put that back on. It's bugging me. That's why I didn't light it. I just wanted to show it the way the kit is and have fun with it. But this kit, again, The top comes off. I drilled out the seats and all that just like I would before. Used the 4-post steering wheel. Did blue and silver on the inside with the chrome, and a black with aluminum. I like that aluminum interior. And I painted this with Tamiya's titanium silver, which is you can really see on the sides. And then I masked everything off and painted the top with Tamiya's clear blue. That's the first time I ever did that, and it worked out really cool. I used the 6 Strombergs on this, and it is wired. Dipstick in place, wires from the headlights, chrome alternator and everything, and the pipes on the outside running into the unders and running out that way and running out the back. And so you can see them out the back, and I thought, yeah, that's cool. This kid actually won me second prize when I went to the Sharon Model Show 2 years ago. So and I was floored that it did. I didn't expect to win anything. I never do. I go there for fun, and what happens, happens. But that's this kit. You can see there's a lot of flaws in that paint. Scratches, just it didn't, I don't know. I struggled with the Tamiya paints, and I was still super happy with it. I mean, it's not a bad paint job, and it did polish out well. But you can see I got bird poop on the back here and a couple other things, where on this one, this may be the best paint job I ever did in my entire life. And I'm not blowing my own horn or anything like that, because I am nowhere near a good airbrush person. I do my best. I use the new Avanus airbrush on the whole thing, and between that and the paint, it really worked out well for me. I'm starting to get the hang of the Kaleido paint. I love that stuff. But anyhow, let's start talking to this. I am going to grab my purple finger today. I went with the 3 Strombergs on this, and we talked about this in the last update, but I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to bring you in, and I'm going to take this off because I know I'm going to fling it across the room here. On the Flathead, I added a dipstick. We added the wires, and the wires, I'm going to adjust them again once I get ready to put this on display. But the wire tube is just 0.6 or 0.8 millimeter solder, and then the spark plug wires are 0.3 millimeter coming out of that, just Hollywooded. I didn't drill it or anything. The linkage is as best as I could do on these Strombergs. I think it looks pretty stinking good for the size and everything. The front belt is just rubber black, and I did aluminum, and I did a semi-gloss. Well, you know what? That's the matte primer on the generator. I used matte primer on a couple of things. I had it out, and I thought, let's hit it with that, see what it looks like, and that's what it came out to, and I left it. The exhaust I did in aluminum over gloss black and left it that way. I like that look. It's not super blingy. The radiator hoses, they took me a couple hours to get what I liked. I tried a few different things. I tried fancy bends and all that. But the way that generator comes up around there, you can see that it would be better just to come straight up, straight in, and be done with it. That is aluminum tubing with a piece of craft wire stuck through the center of it to tighten up the bend a little bit. So I didn't kink it, but it did split. So I used a little bit of my sprue glue where it split and fill it, and you can't really even tell. So I'm good with that. The hose clamps, are 0.3 millimeter solder just wrapped around the aluminum pipe. Little tiny drop of super glue, and then I just push the solder in place into the super glue, and it worked good that way. And then when I got done with everything and I was ready to put a coat of wax on this, I hit that with the Fusion Firm Chrome. I know it's not a blingy blingy chrome. I'm good with that, but it looks a whole lot better than the aluminum. The aluminum was pretty scratched up by the time I was done with it, and I just put that on there to cover it up. And I'm happy with it. I mean, I really am. There's a few things that I wanted to do to this, but I thought the more I do, the more junky it's going to get. So I just opted to leave it go at that. And I think it looks good. The firewall, I went with black on it this time. And I used the small headlights on here. I like them. The shocks, I just did in Tamiya's red and left everything else chrome. Where I had to sand it for getting rid of the panel lines and everything, I just hit that with a Fusion Firm. And in the camera here, I can see blue around this rim, and I can't see that with my naked eye at all. So I'll have to touch that up with a little bit of aluminum. But honestly, I can't see it at all. I'm going to keep going underneath here. The front suspension gave me a little bit of a fit, just to get it to fit, but it was my own doing. I had to bend this around. This was pretty twisted, the frame. I'm going to back you out so we don't get seasick here. There we go. The frame was pretty twisted on this, and between the hot water and everything, I got it as good as I could get it. I think it still has a little tweak to it, though. This way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that worked out, but in order to take care of that, I did sand this out and then Fusion Firm it. But this one runner on the side here, I took and just shaved off just the smallest amount so it still goes into its mounting spot. And that worked out because I'm not a whole lot off here, just a little tiny bit. The exhaust is not supposed to work on this kit. So what I did is I used the back exhaust from the kit, and I didn't want it to stick out and under the bumper with the chrome tips this time. I just wanted it to come back to the back, and I figure it'll just deflect off. I could cut an angle on that to kind of push it down, but I'm not going to. I like the way it looks back there. It just kind of drops out. But what I did is right between here and the exhaust headers, I just took some of that same aluminum and bent it into shape. And where it goes into the locator pin here, I swedged it open just a little bit using my round file and just kind of wiggling it around until it opened up enough to fit on there. And that worked out great. It really did. I couldn't believe the transmission lined up. It's the perfect distance from here to here where I was able to use the stock drive shaft. That was pretty cool. I expected to where I was going to have to do some shaving or like Lennis did and use a piece of tube on there and expand it. But it went right on there. I left the chrome underneath just because I wanted some chrome. I mean, I didn't want it to just be there. It's all black. But I did the rear end and the gloss along with everything else. The shocks I did in just primer. And then I dry brushed the springs in there. And then I came back and I painted the red on it just to give it a little bit of that, everything to go together right. And I love the way that works out. I put a widow on there for the license plate, and I did a little modern because the girl that I'm going to be displaying this with, or I might be displaying with this, is a little more modern than like back in the 30s or 40s. So that's why I went with the more modern Ohio plate on there. But this was so much fun. I'm going to do a music video because I got a bunch of pictures with this at the end. But everything went together exactly the way I wanted it to. It really did. These are just so great kits. You can see the reflection in that, man. It's crazy. But these are such great kits, and they don't really fight you that much. They give you a ton of extra parts and stuff like that. But everything you see, everything just drops on. Look at, you can't even tell that's two pieces. It just drops together perfectly. Now, what I did to the paint is, once I put my second coat of black on it, got this on, I let it sit for about 2 days, maybe 3. And then I came back and I polished it with Tamiya's medium and then Tamiya's finish polish. And I let that sit overnight, and I came back, and wherever the polish was in the lines, I used these things. I love these. These were gifted to me, but I love these things. I got the tip just a little bit wet and lightly went in the lines, and that took all that extra out that dried and showed back up today. So that worked out great. And then at the end, I waxed it with one coat of my old Turtle Wax Ice. That stuff works great, and it kind of helps to keep the fingerprints off it. So with all that and the Kaleido paints and the Avanis airbrush and the polishing and the ice, I still have to say this is the best paint job I ever got. I'm jazzed with it. I want to do my endings before I do the music video. So first off, I want to thank Lennis for everything he does for the group, for me, for everybody. He's always there for everybody. He is an awesome person, and to come up with this, man, did people jump on it. Let's thank Gallery for everything they've done for me, for the group, for everybody, really. They got the Avanises figured out, so don't be shy about jumping on and grabbing one. It's the nicest airbrush I've used to date ever from anybody. If you do go with the Gallery, use Grandpa Mark in the coupon code, and you'll get 10% off of your entire order, including sale prices and everything. And it'll help me out, too, because I get a little bit of kickback on that. I want to remind you about my 24-hour group build coming up in October. That'll be myself, Lennis, Bruce from Bruce's Eclectic World, and Jason from KRD Racing Design. We'll all be on for 24 hours. If I can get $2,000 in donations, I will shave my head again. And I'm saying $2,000 this time, not $1,000, because I'm afraid that this might be the last time I ever get to shave my head, because I don't think it's going to come back. Let's thank our active duty members, our veterans, and our first responders for putting it out every single day. I salute each and every one of you, and I thank each and every one of you. And I want to give a shout out to Automotive Model Car Livecast. They're on YouTube at 8 o'clock every Thursday. Great show. It's supposed to last an hour. It never does. It always goes over, and everybody has a blast with it. So with that, how about if we start the music video? And I want to say you all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching.